Why, hello there, everybody. It's me again. Now, I think I need to say this. Once this is resolved, and it is going to be resolved, these criminals are going to go to prison. Once this is resolved, I will never speak of it again. Because every time it's talked about, it's redone to me. So I I never plan on speaking about this again once it is resolved. But these people are a threat to every law abiding citizen. They are a threat because they feel that they can do whatever they want to do and they feel that they can get away with it. They're not going to get away with it now, folks. For the people living here in Jacksonville, Florida, all you got to do is watch the news. And you can see what's going on pertaining to law enforcement overstepping their bounds, knocking a woman out who was handcuffed, and it's just a misdemeanor charge. Oh no, see, that's going to stop. That is going to stop. These are not rulers. These are bullies. These are thugs. These are criminals. And they are preventing the honest law enforcement, the real law enforcement people from doing their job. They are making the honest law enforcement officer's job that much harder because why? Well, everyone assumes that all the police officers are like that idiot, that criminal that beat up that woman who was handcuffed. But now I want to stay on this for 1 second. Notice they can get away with it because she did do something wrong. She was drunk in public. She did cause a fuss. Me, I didn't do anything wrong. They are not going to get away with this. It's as if they came into my house and it is as if they come into my house on a daily basis and rape me. This is not going to stand. This is not going to be allowed. These people are going to go to prison. Okay? So, what I wanted to do was just give you a real brief recap of where we are. Okay? And this is the steps that they've taken. Step one, they made me believe on December 15th, they lied to me, the fake judge impersonated, and they said, hey, all the charges are dropped. There's nothing else for you to do. Go on about your life. They had to remove me from the equation. Why? Because I was out on bond. This bond. And the way that it works, folks, is the bond company is supposed to call you and make sure that you show up for court. That's what this bond says. And when you go to court, after it's all said and done, what I was supposed to have done was gone back to the bond company so they can finalize because they are on the hook. They are in charge of me. They are my babysitter. Well, that never happened because this bond is not a bond, it's a ransom. And I've given these people $2,500 as a ransom so I could get out of jail, which is what caused all the problems. Okay? So that was step one. They had to get me out of the way. They have to get rid of this, which only documents their crimes. All of them. All of their crimes. There is no such thing as an attempted this. It's like giving someone a speeding ticket for attempted speeding. In order for this statute to be violated, you need a very specific victim. The description of the crime is listed here lists a very specific victim. And if this does happen, this statute is not involved. This statute is involved. This is the one. This is the misdemeanor charge that they're going to write the arrest, the fake arrest and booking report for, because this number has been inserted into the clerk of the court system. Okay, so then the next step is they moved all of the felony documents that had already been filed. All of this. See, it says filed, clear as day, circuit court filed. All of this stuff, they moved all of this over to the misdemeanor clerk. And it's a physical transformation. And we already went through the steps of how they did that. Okay? But they didn't file it with the clerk because that is the damning evidence that they're moving. That is all the damning evidence that they're moving. The judges need all of this. The judges and the state attorneys need all of this to go proof. Okay? That's what they need, because this documents what they did, that they were pursuing charges on a crime that does not exist. Okay? So they moved it over to the misdemeanor clerk, or made it look that way. So they're lying to the felony clerk of the court. Remember, the felony clerk or the circuit clerk does not communicate directly to the misdemeanor clerk or the county clerk. So as far as the felony clerk is over with, is concerned, this case 97-995 for this 97995 is no longer their problem. It's now a misdemeanor. It's now a misdemeanor thing. And remember, these people in the clerk's office, they have no law degree. All they do is file stuff. Okay? So they have all the information, and it's sitting. Where is all that information sitting? It's sitting in this little criminal's desk, because this is the same criminal that was he was a state attorney's officer. And he was a state attorney, but he was the one that was part of the fake thing telling me that all the charges were dropped, when there's no charges to be dropped, because again, this does not document me committing a crime. This is what they need to get away. This is what they need to get. They're concerned with this number right here is what they need to outcome, because all the documents were filed. Okay, so all of the felony stuff is sitting in this guy's desk. Then December 15th, then the arraignment date, but that's not going to happen, because if this arraignment date ever happens, hey, they'll all go to prison. And besides, it's not going to happen because they've already told me that all the charges were dropped. Now they're covering their tracks, or trying to. There's the docket number, 995. So what they do is they rewrite the arrest and booking report, making it a one-count charge for this misdemeanor charge right there. Okay? Right there. And this is where they did it at. Here we go. Okay, this is where they did it. Now I'm going to zoom in real close, just so you can see. Okay? 998. This is the one that we're looking at. Okay? One count. Two count. That's the original felony, or what they're calling a felony. That's why it doesn't have a thing there. Okay? This arrest and booking report does not exist. Well, it does exist. In fact, I know right where it's at. Okay? Because they have to follow procedure. Once they inserted this number, so what they did is they took this number, and it's already been inserted in the felony court with the felony clerk. They take this number and then reinsert it into the county clerk or the misdemeanor court. And they're just going to say, you know what, we're just going to forget about this. But once that number is inserted, you can't take it out. So now they're just going to ignore this number, and they're just going to look at this one, the rewritten one-count arrest and booking report for a one-count misdemeanor crime. Okay? Sorry. Here we go. And they're saying it both that right there. That's the arrest. That is the date that it supposedly took place. But the document, there was no crime taking place on 12/3/1997. Okay? This is the original felony one. So there it is, reinserted. So what they're saying is, hey, and when we come back here, we see this is the misdemeanor case. This is the felony case. Okay? This is the felony case. This is the misdemeanor case. I'm having mouse problems today, folks. Well, you get the idea. This is the misdemeanor case. This is the felony case. Okay? Neither one has a valid arrest and booking report. But what they're calling an arrest and booking report has this number on it. They've just recopied this number and they're all lying just to try to cover it up. Okay? Then they have another judge and they make it look like that it is that I pled no contest. When? On my first appearance date. Okay? And we're going to come down. We're going to come down to these guys down here. These two guys were arrested on 12/5 for that same misdemeanor, one count misdemeanor charge. Okay? At their first appearance, they pled no contest. And their adjudication of guilt was withheld. Okay? When you plead no contest, according to the statute that misdemeanor crime is for, when you plead no contest, the judge has an option. The judge can make you go through a procedure that takes 30 days, or he can not do it. But if you are found guilty, adjudicated guilty, if you are convicted of it, you have to go through the 30-day, the thing that takes about 30 days. Okay? So what happened here with these two guys, they both, it's the very same statute. Okay? They got arrested for this statute on 12/4. Then at their first appearance on 12/5, which as you come down here, this is their first appearance. 12/5, they pled no contest. Okay? But the judge decided that he was going to make them go through the extra step just so they learn their lesson and do the required thing that takes 30 days to do. Okay? So that is the date that they have. That's their window of opportunity to sneak me in. So what they do is they rewrite it, because if you look, there's the arrest dates, clear as day, okay? But now my filing date is 1/6 for a misdemeanor and 1/5 for a felony, but there is no arrest and booking report. Okay? They had to put in that court date, that filing date, simply because Mallory D. Cooper, I'm having mouse problems today, folks. Simply because Mallory D. Cooper made sure that it was filed. Okay? Had it not gone on to Mallory D. Cooper's docket, it would have been filed. That file date would say 12/4. Because that was my first appearance date. Okay? Right there. File date. That is the date that it starts on. Now, you got to ask your question. That's the date that the charges are filed in court and the proceedings take place, begin. And that's the first appearance. So why, you have to ask yourself, why is a 12/3/1997, supposed 12/3/1997 arrest have a beginning of court proceedings over a month later? That's a lot. It's anyone that works anyone that has any kind of knowledge of how the court system works. Even when I called up the clerks, they didn't understand why it was taking that long. Okay? So, and all that's in there simply because it ended up on Mallory Cooper's docket and she filed it. Okay? Do you understand now? So, they have reinserted this number twice now. And now it's just been documented that they did it because it got put on Mallory Cooper's docket. And her state attorney's office brought it over to the misdemeanor case, to the misdemeanor or county clerk, and they just filed all of these documents. And now they have to explain why it's in there. So, and again, Mallory Cooper doesn't see any of this. By the time Mallory Cooper sees it, all of these okay, what they did, this little guy puts all of the smoking guns into a folder and then puts all of the new, fake, made up arrest and booking report with the one count misdemeanor arrest and booking report with this number, as well as with whatever paperwork is needed to make it look like that I pled no contest on 12/4/1997 for a crime that there is no record of. It's fake. It's made up. Okay? And one judge has found me guilty and ordered me to go through the steps that takes 1 month. So that 1/6 date is not an arraignment date. It is a sentencing hearing. So she doesn't go. She just looks at it. She says, "Okay, this judge." So she knows what judge did it, and because it's in front of her, she sees she doesn't. She has no idea of a cover up. In other words, they just lied to her. Okay, so she just says, and again, I don't believe that she found me guilty. I believe that that this is also. This is a page outside of the court. This is a page from the court's record book. It's not in the case file. Okay? So then they go around. So I think that this is redone as well. It shouldn't belong there at all, period, because I committed no crime. But now their problem is they have 2 of these arrest and booking reports in the clerk of the court system. Once you put that puppy in, it can't be taken out. First time it went in was when they filed all of this stuff with the circuit court. Okay? That's the first time. Now what they're saying is now it's being refiled a second time with the misdemeanor as a totally different arrest, totally different charges, and now it just got filed. So now they have to figure out, how do they explain this? They can't go back to the felony court and say, well, here's all the documents again, because the felony clerk said, well, wait a minute, you just told me it's right here. Where is it at? Right here. Right here, we're moving this over. This doesn't exist. Now, so they got to put something back in. Now, what I want you to notice is there is no stamp. There is no stamp. There is no stamp. This filed, I don't know where they got this from. This looks like something that you get at Office Depot. That is not a court stamp. Okay? I've already shown you what the court stamp looks like. The court stamp looks like, right here, this, filed, with the date, filed. Okay? Filed. That's the best one. Clear as day. And again, I don't know what in the world that is. That they must have went down to Office Depot or something. I mean, but there is no, and again, this has this instrument in computer. There's none of that on any of these documents in the felony case file. None of them have have a filed or even a instrument in computer until you get down to here. And when is this date? January 5th. And then they have filed January 5th, 1998. So, and again, folks, this would never be, this misdemeanor charge would never have been transferred out of circuit court because it would have never been tried in circuit court. They know this. They got caught. None of this makes sense. And just because it says filed there doesn't mean it was filed. Remember, folks, they control all the information. It's just a rubber stamp, for crying out loud. They could change the date and make it say whatever they want to. But their problem is it's in there. Their biggest problem is Mallory Cooper and they brought information before a judge that is false, fake, it's a lie. And now that judge has found me guilty of a crime that there is no record of anyone doing on 12/3/1997. Here's the arrest search, folks. The only one that's listed as being that is me, and that document doesn't exist. This arrest search was for that very specific statute that the Honorable Mallory Cooper found me guilty of. Right there. One count. It doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. I know right where it's sitting. I got a real good idea as to where it's sitting. But they can't. What does that mean? They have to leave this arrest and booking report sitting at JSO because this is the original felony that they have listed. They can't destroy it because the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper has filed it. They've got to put something into the felony case file. So what do? They don't put the clerk of the court's copy in it. Why? Because it was never filed with the clerk. They put the state attorney's office copy in it. And again, no stamps saying this instrument in computer or filed. Why? Because this is the document that's going to put them all into prison. Okay? So they can't get rid of that. They got to put something in it, and then when they make the misdemeanor case file, they got to put something in it. And the reason why this bond for a $25,003 felony charge is in the misdemeanor case file is because, again, it was in the packet, it was in the folder that the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper gave to her state attorney's officer. And the state attorney went and filed it. That's why it's sitting in there. And that's why it doesn't have a discharge. Because if this comes to light, see right here, this instrument in computer, that was the very first time that was for this felony case file. Right there. Made bond. So you're looking right at it, folks. That's the first stamp. But when it's finalized, it should have a filed button, a filed stamp. Okay? The first little square is the first time that it comes before the courts. The information is filed. Then the filed stamp, this one is when the action is completed. So that's why all of these have instrument in computer. And that is the clerk. That is the clerk that's doing it. Everything is documented, folks. Everything. And then that same clerk filed it. Okay? So they have to make up some kind of misdemeanor case file because, again, Mallory D. Cooper filed it. And so what do? They lie. They lie. Right here. Here is the arrest search, folks. 12/3. That's the misdemeanor one. Okay? Let's go back over here. Charge count. 1. Misdemeanor, second degree. The case file. the misdemeanor case file lists count 1, count 2, and then count 3 happened later. Okay? This is a lie. There is no document in here. Okay? It is a lie. They have to if they tell the truth, because what the document that's in here is there and there again, that's proof. This is the same arrest and booking report number that's here, and that documents and proves that they rewrote it, because this is the misdemeanor case, and right here is the very same arrest and booking report number in the felony case. Okay? You understand? Okay? So this is one giant lie. There is no misdemeanor arrest and booking report. There is no felony arrest and booking report anywhere that says that I did anything on 12/3/1997. Because this is the document, and this document only documents their crimes. They need this to go poof, but now they can't make it go poof because the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper filed everything. They have to include this arrest and booking report number in the misdemeanor case file because, hello, that's what was before the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper. And that's in the information that she filed. Finding me right there. It's all in that packet. And no one ever looked at it because the sentencing happened so quick. So now they're running around while they're trying to make up all of these things. And by the way, I'll probably have one more video. Real quick. Here's what you're looking at, folks. Okay. Effective, entered. Okay. This is the effective is the date that it took place, 12/3/1997. The entered is the date that the information was inserted into the case file. Look at how everything is entered in on 1/6/1998. Okay? This is the felony case file. What does that mean? That means this case file did not exist until 1/6/1998. Why? Because they never planned on making it. The only reason why it exists is because Mallory D. Cooper, state attorney, filed all the information. Same thing with the misdemeanor. Okay? Effective. Entered. Okay? 12/4 is what they're saying. Well, they had to go back and correct that. That's corrected. Offense date is corrected on the next line, 12/3/1997. Now look at how many times 1/6. This case file did not exist until 1/6/1998, and the only reason why it exists is because the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper filed all this stuff. Look how many lines. Line 1 through 14. Arraignment date, that's a lie. So all of this was created on my arraignment date? No, folks. And last thing, the charge, the statute that they have found me guilty for, it is impossible, according to Florida statutes, to be found guilty of this misdemeanor charge, as well as be adjudicated guilty of this misdemeanor charge all in one day. Because, as I said earlier, it takes 30 days. There's a process that you have to go through, and it takes about 30 days. So there is no way that they could have filed this on the 6th, as well as adjudicated me guilty, and applied the adjudication of guilt on the same day. Okay? But now, in the next video, what we're going to talk about is they're so busy running around creating these fake, made-up felony case files and misdemeanor case files, trying to create some kind of feasible explanation for why they even exist, that they forget to pay the court costs. And then Mallory D. Cooper issues a capias for my arrest for not paying the court costs. Okay? And notice, folks, no stamp anywhere. Okay? No stamp, no filed, no nothing. Because it was never filed. Don't worry. More in the next video. They have nothing. These people are going to prison. This is going to stop.